Geoffrey Giuliano in conversation, The Best of Ruth and Angie McCartney 2. Written by Geoffrey Giuliano. Narrated by Geoffrey Giuliano.
The record company used to send us Yoko albums. Somebody said, hey, you can make ashtrays out of those. Just switch the stove on the first notch onto just half a click. Put the records on, and they melt and come up with like conch shells.
Make fruit bowls out of Yoko records.
Put crisps in them and peanuts. But it was definitely an improvement on listening to them.
Is that good?
On listening to them. And my cleaning lady, Nancy, she used to say, oh, we shouldn't do that, Mrs. Mackerman. She's a big star. And I used to say, yeah, but she screams and she shrieks. And she'd say, can I have one of those records? And I'd say, sure. She'd take them home and presumably played them. Nancy, if you've got them,
she's probably still listening to them.
If you've got them,
go for the ashtrays.
Put the stove on half a click.
Was Jim fond of Yoko's music?
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Geoffrey. Come on. It's going to be a funny day today, I can tell.
God, what would he say about it?
He wouldn't say a word, he'd just go.
Sniff.
Would you put it on, the caterwauling?
Yeah. And he'd say, are we having a cup of tea then?
Angela McCartney was born in Liverpool, as you might expect, in November of 1929. She married her first husband in 1956, and their only daughter Ruth was born in the winter of 1960. Angie, sadly, was widowed in 1962, after her husband was involved in a tragic car accident, and some 2 years later, she became acquainted with a lonely widower by the name of Jim McCartney. Jim was a kindly retired cotton salesman and one-time local band leader who also shared the distinction of being the father of Beatle Paul McCartney. The couple were married in 1964, with Jim formally adopting Angie's little girl. Together, quite happily with Jim until his death in 1976, Angie and Ruth were witness to pretty much all of the exciting, turbulent, unpredictable, unparalleled Beatle years. Along the way, both ladies formed deep relationships with not only Paul, but also his brother Mike McGear, all of the Beatles and their wives, of course, as well as a host of other A-list celebrities, rock stars, and people of the day. To enter into a family as close-knit and headstrong as the McCartney clan, however, was often tough going. Notwithstanding the ever-present pressure on their lives as the family of Beatle Paul and the madness which swirled around those lucky, or perhaps more appropriately fated, to be part of his confidential, exclusive inner circle. Angie, ever enthusiastic, optimistic, and full of life, not only looked after Ruth and Jim, but also helped out at the Beatles' office with fan mail, event planning, and later in 1976, starting the Wings Fun Club for Paul's second incarnation pop group, Wings. For Ruth, being the kid sister of the sexy Beatle was at first a thrill and later a definite challenge. At school, she was taunted and teased mercilessly, sometimes even bullied because of her famous family. Following the ever-dignified and gentle Jim McCartney's death from complications of arthritis in the late 70s, Ruth and Angie's relationship with Paul inexplicably soured, and they were soon out on their own once again. The fact of the matter is that they were pretty much turfed out with little support from the mega-millionaire Beatle. The two then moved to London in search of a new life, and for a time, they
Sample complete. Ready to continue?